I always pronounced it Hamer. Is it Hammer? Hamer? Alright, on the bench this week, I have a Hammer Slammer, Hamer Slammer, Hamer Slammer, something like that. It's your standard Explorer shape. Got your 3 knobs, got your bridge, humbuckers, switch, rosewood fretboard, and your hockey stick headstock. The only flaw that I see on the whole thing is this giant chip here, which I think came from the guitar store like that. Other than that, beautiful transparent red wine finish. And it's just in today for a tune-up. So we'll set you up on the bench, start going through it. I'm going to date this guitar to maybe the mid-90s, 96, 97. Can't really find much information about them. Made in Korea, maybe Indonesia. So let's turn it on, see what it sounds like. Everything's all the way up. That's middle. Bridge. Neck. No clicking or buzzing on the pots. That's a nice surprise. Nothing happening on the... Really quiet, no buzz. Boy, that's different on my channel. Well, the intonation can use some adjusting at any rate. But yeah, I'm going to go through the fretboard. I don't think that's ever been done. So, yeah, let's start there. Well, that gives me something to do. I want to explain what I'm doing when I'm leveling the frets. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little tool here, fret leveler. See, it's like that, you know, some kind of shape. I forget what that geometry shape is called. Let me know in the comments. I take this, I'm going to start with the longest edge up here, and I'm always spanning 3 frets. And if they're good, it should, and you're going to rock it back and forth on the middle fret. If they're good, you're not going to hear any rocking. If one of them's too high, you're going to hear it rocking. So for instance, there's this spot here. I'll go down here. This is a good spot for you. So when I'm down here, I can't rock it back and forth. Start getting around in here, I can rock it back and forth. Really bad right there. And it fades back out, and it's solid down here. So what I've done with my red Sharpie is marked that spot. And that'll come in handy in our next step. So we've gone through and I've checked them all. There's no problems up here. Lots of problems down here. So the next thing I want to do is I want to start taping up these frets. If you're a master luthier, I'm sure you don't need any tape. You can go do this right through this, but you always want to avoid gouging your fretboard. Everybody's going to see that when you're playing, and it's not good for the wood either. So if you're inexperienced like I am, use some tape. Use it to your advantage. Now, as you saw with my red Sharpies, there's no problems up here, but I'm going to tape the whole thing up anyway, because the next process I'm going to be going right through all of that. I'm going to be cleaning all these up. Okay, so we figured out what our high frets are, right? Marked them with a red Sharpie. We've protected our fretboard. Let's go one step over. Let's do some overkill. Bobby Blitz style. And let's, that was stupid. Let's do, cover up these pickups too with some tape. The reason I do this is your pickups are magnetic. Now, your fret material might not be made of a magnetic material. The fret itself might not be made of a magnetic material. But you are creating, I'm going to create some shavings here, some filings, whether it's from the steel wool I use or whether it's from the frets themselves. So if they were to be magnetic, they might get sucked in there. Let's say they're not magnetic, but still, if you get a shaving in here, you're going to be creating shorts inside your pickup in those windings. We want to avoid that. So, I use a lot of tape. Keep in mind, this is probably not going to have to be done for another 20 years. This is only, you don't do this at every string change. I'm only doing this to all these guitars that have never had it and need it. I'm even going to go one step over and put one here around the switch. Alright, I am taped. I have one of these fret sanders. Starts with 400 on that side, 600 on that side, 1000 and 1200. I'm going to start with the 400 and I'm going to not put pressure, let this thing skate across the top of the frets until the red Sharpie disappears. And I don't really have to do it up here. I might do the 1000 and the 12 up here just to give them a little shine. But that's where I'm going to start. I want to keep this going in a straight motion. My last couple swipes I'm going to kind of do, if you've ever seen them blocking a car, block sanding, they'll use very long sanders and they go in a crosswise motion to keep everything flat and straight. And good body work you'll see down the side of the car. There won't be any ripples if they've done that correctly. That's kind of the effect I'm going for here. With that done, I'm going to check it again. My side 3, I've tried a couple different fret levelers, and my side 3 on all of them is just not accurate. So I've been using the side of this string action ruler, which is pretty true. So I'll use that for my side 3. It's worked so far. And this one is still here. This one has disappeared. This one has disappeared. This one has disappeared. This one is still here. So I went from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots to 2 spots. And we'll go back to our 400 just until that red Sharpie disappears. And then we'll check it again. And this one is still here. And that one is still there. Another thing just to check them to make sure they're not lifting up out of your edges, and they're not. That one's finally gone. That one's still there. Yeah, it's still set there, so you want to check that, make sure they're not lifting. There we go. So now these are all level within to each other, and that's a good place to start. You will reduce having fret buzz. So after I've done that, there is a little, a couple little flat spots, and I'm going to use this crowning file to just give that bevel there back to the top of the frets. And this is something you just do lightly. A couple swipes. Make sure you're going straight with it. File generally only works in one direction, so you want to put the heave hoe on your forward motion. You're just kind of skating it back when you're bringing it backwards. Just want to give more extra attention to the spots that were high. Alright, so they're recrowned. My next two steps, I have some sandpaper. This is some 220. And then I'll go to a 600. And then I just like to, I'm basically just not bearing into it because this will take it down fast. Just trying to get the tool marks out from the filing, the sanding that we did when we flattened it, and the tool marks from the crowner. So yeah, that's just a light brush with that. 600. After the sandpaper, I like to use a little bit of steel wool. And I have some heavy steel wool and some lighter steel wool. So we'll start with the heavier stuff. And again, I'm not digging into it. I'm just rubbing it across, just rubbing it. I'm just polishing. And I'm really starting to take a nice smooth shine now. I'm sure if you looked at this with a microscope, you'd still see the abrasions. But to the eye, it's definitely, and to the touch, it's definitely getting smoother. We move to the lightest steel wool I have. And that's really polishing it up. Now you could stop right there and these would be perfectly playable, nice and shiny for you, ready to go. But I always like to go one step further, and I'm going to hit it with the Dremel. And you know, you get one of these kits, you can get a, it doesn't have to be a Dremel, it can be a knockoff thing. You can get one of these little buffers and attach it to a drill if you need to. The thing about a drill is you got to be careful with the handle hitting your finish or something, you know. You could even do this by hand if you wanted, if you got some compound polish or something. But I just like to do this. I don't need a high setting for this, usually around 5 or 10 on mine. This is an old Dremel though, so I think my speed control is on its way out. Okay, they are buffed, polished. I'll give those a little wipe down. Now is the time you want to vacuum, get all those, any dust, any of those particles that might be on there. You want to get all that off of there now. Now that I've done all the dirty work on that, and everything else is going to be clean from here on, I'm going to switch to a cleaner pad. My next step before strings is always lemon oil. Unless I'm working on a maple neck, I'll use a little bit of liquid wax. So for cleaning a modern guitar, you want something very light, very soapy, that's going to take something off. I like to use this foam glass cleaner. Just a little squirt will do you. Right there. And this will clean, take the gunk off, fingerprints, that type of stuff. My tape residue over here, I'll take that off. Model number on this is XP-1/TW, if anybody was interested in that. Okay, with the gunk off, I like to go with some spray wax, whatever's in a little red thing like this, whether it's Meguiar's, Mother's, doesn't matter. A couple squirts of that. Rub it in, nice soft cloth. Make it smooth, make it smell good. This stuff almost smells like a bubble gum. Smells so good. Alright, I think it's string time. This guitar belongs to Beaujeu, Kelly, and he likes heavy strings, so all I have is the 1046s and the boomers, so these might be kind of light for him, but that's all I got. We're going to put them on. We can change them out to something heavier later. We'll start with our first string. The way I like to put the strings on, I used to sit here and have them loose and wind with the string winder. Now I like to do this little knot. So I go around once, pull it taut. I go around a second time, and on my second time I'm going to push it through the hole. And I want to make sure it's above all the other strings that the coils that came around. I'm going to push it through and pull it tight. Then I can take my string winder, and I'm right there. So I did that one. You guys can do the rest, right? No? So again, we're going to pull it tight and go around once. Second time around, push it through the hole. And you're home. And the tension of the coils pulling up, tighten the whole thing down. Or up. Having a terrible time opening these strings today. Butterfingers. Now on my B and my E strings, I like to go around 3 times. This method really makes quick work of a string change. There we go, we're all on there. Get rid of our garbage. I'm going to take some side snips, and I like to get them pretty close. Close enough that you're not going to catch your finger on it. Get one under your fingernail. Oh, that's the worst, ain't it? Alright, strings are on. Let's tune it up. See where we're at here. This is a Hamer guitar. I always pronounced it Hamer. Is it Hammer? Hamer? What I remember about those was mid-80s. That was late 80s. Jeff Watson from Night Ranger came and did a little engagement at our music shop. Spoke about how he invented tapping. I don't know if that was true. I kind of thought somebody else invented tapping, but he insisted he invented tapping. So anyway, that's what I think of that. We had an autograph poster on my wall of Jeff Watson from Night Ranger with his big blonde hair blowing in the wind, playing his hammer. Alright, there's my first tuning. First thing I want to do is I want to sight down the neck and make sure that it's straight, which there's a little underbow. I want to take that out of there first. Okay, that's about a half a turn. Just under it. Yeah, that truss rod was too tight. So loosened it. Right here is loose. And I just want to go maybe about a half a turn past loose into Tightville. If you know what I'm saying, fellas. See, even a half a turn is making it start to come back up. Quarter. Quarter looks great. That's where we're going to keep it. Alright, so fretboard is flat. Now I want to set the intonation on this, and I don't like to do it with weight on the neck. So I wouldn't want to put my cradle there because its tendency to, if you think the body is down here, the cradle's up here, it's going to naturally want to fold in the center. So you want this as straight as possible, as if you were holding it and playing it. When you're standing playing it, there's, no tension here on the neck pushing either way. So that's where I like to do my intonation, if I can. A lot of guitars are in such a way that you don't need to lift them up on anything. I'm going to put my cradle under here underneath the body for now. For setting intonation on something like this, you just need a flathead screwdriver. Most of these Les Paul style bridges, the screws face this way, so you're going to be coming in to adjust them that way, and you'll be bringing the saddle for forwards or backwards. So what I like to do is tune up to the string to the note it should be. So we're doing an E, 440 E, and then make a harmonic here, and you're not pressing down on the string, you're just holding your finger right over the 12th fret. Drift it a little bit from me. Brand new strings will do that, so where that is, and we're going to press down on the 12th fret lightly and see where that hits. It should be the same note. And that's actually looking pretty good. I'm going to leave it there. That's right on too. So I think what happened, which I probably should have checked in the first place, once I had my strings on, take your screwdriver or your pick or something, push your saddles all the way back to make sure they're in the right position when you're starting. That might have happened on the last string change because it was off the same intonation as I was off when I put these new strings on. So making sure that the saddles are set correctly. So whoever had originally set these saddles up had at least these two right. So we're going to start there. That's right on. That should be a D. Yeah. A little bit close. I think I want to bring this one forward a little bit. It's a little flat. I think that is too far back. Sometimes they get so far back or forward that you're into another phase of tuning, That should be a little more forward. I don't think it should be that far back. Just gonna get it all up just to fix it again. Beautiful, dead on. And that one's perfect too. Very last thing I'm going to do here within the electronic realm is going to raise these pickups up to a suitable height. I think they're kind of low. Actually, this neck one. So this has been a Hamer Slammer, or a Slammer by Hamer, or a Slammer Hammer, Hammer Slammer, Hammer Slammer. That's how they'd say it around here. You got your Slammer. So yeah, this is a nice guitar. I like the weight of it. The strap button is on the back. I don't know about that. That might give kind of weird weight to an Explorer. I prefer to have it up here, but to each his own. If that's bothering him, I can certainly put it up here for him. But other than that, it's a cool guitar. The hockey stick looks weird to me. It looks stubby, maybe fat and stubby, whereas the Gibson one is a little more thin, round, and longer. But I mean, they can't do that. They can't steal that from Gibson, right? Gibson will probably sue me for having this video, right? Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Thumbs up so I know you like my content, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.